They might not be as exciting or drama-filled as national politics, but you should be paying attention to local politics too. Whether it's for the mayor's race or city council, there's interesting information to know about your local politicians. What do they stand for? What are some of their primary concerns? This is important stuff to know about. You might not have access to speak in the Senate chambers. However, city council meetings are open to the public and accept public commentary. If you're worried about potholes, or maybe a bus route, or even the lack of parking in a certain area, city council meetings are where you should go to voice your concerns. Change comes from the bottom up, so if you want to see change, you need to pay attention to local politics. Here on What the Gov, we've met some interesting guests and learned some fun facts about the government. But today, I've decided that with the recent local elections, it was important to talk to some real local officials about what they do and how they plan on answering your calls to action. So if you've ever wondered, who are some of my local city officials in the city of Laurel? I have no idea what they look like or what they do. Who cares about local politics? I just want to see some entertaining television. I get it, I know what you mean, but if you want to elect change in your neighborhood, you better start paying attention. Because for the next 15 minutes or so, we're going to be learning a lot about your local officials. So stick around, hang on tight, and let's get down to business. My name is Mylia Laughlin, and this is What the Gov. For this episode of What the Gov, instead of doing the amendment corner, we've got the council member corner. Okay, so that might not be as catchy as the amendment corner, but this is just as important. We're here today with the elected council member at large, Valerie Nicholas. Ms. Nicholas, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really glad to be here.
Great, great, great. So this is your first time as council member at large. What does that role entail?
Well, as many of my viewers know, I was Councilwoman representing Ward 1, which was a certain portion of the city. I ran for the at-large seat because it just made more sense because I was already serving people in Ward 2. So the at-large seat means you cover both Ward 1 and Ward 2.
So what are you most excited about with this new position?
I'm just very excited about getting out in the community and bringing the council and the council meetings to the communities. I said that during my campaign, is one of my campaign messages. So that's what I'm really looking forward to, going in neighborhoods, finding out what their issues are and addressing them.
Great. So what are some things that you want to continue from your previous time?
Well, let's see. Again, I'm very interested in having more residents come to our meetings. So since they are not coming to us, I'd like to go to them. I'd also like to talk more about the crime in the neighborhoods. I'm very interested in that door ring that I saw as I was campaigning. There was a lot of those at the doors. And I'm just very interested in utilizing those methods and working along with the police chief and the police department to address some of the crime in our neighborhoods.
All right, good to hear. So what are some things that you want to change?
Change? I'm not going to say I necessarily want to change anything. I just want to say I want to continue to enhance, to keep the city moving forward. I look forward to working with the mayor and the new council members as well as our existing council members, just making the city even better.
So kind of developing more of those ideas that you guys have already been working on.
Yeah, furthering those and just getting feedback. I really enjoy and appreciate residents that come to us with suggestions. I entertain, all of those ideas. We're not on a one-track thinking, we're open. So that's really what I'm looking forward to as well.
So I've heard you get up every morning feeding the homeless. So can we talk a little bit about your volunteer work?
Yes, ma'am. I'm very excited about it. Even before I got on the city council, I was serving the homeless. This is my 23rd, going into my 24th year. I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I prepare meals, fresh meals that I serve. I go to about 4 to 5 different locations in the city. And I also give them hygiene bags to go along with it. It's exciting. It's very fulfilling for me. There's a lot of people out here in need. Whether I'm on the council or not, I will continue to provide that service. As most people know, I do have a nonprofit called Love Is Not Enough, Inc. I'm a tax-exempt nonprofit organization, and I just look forward to just even enhancing more, to do more work and helping people become self-sufficient.
So why has that been so important to you? Like, how does that, keep you getting up every morning doing that?
I am a survivor of domestic violence myself. My baby was killed in '95, and I hit a really hard place. I hit rock bottom, and I struggled for many, many years. And I promised God that when I got on my feet and was able to get myself to a healthy place, then I would help other people. And that's been a lifelong commitment to me since then. So this is very important to me. I get calls all through the night. Being on the council, it's been a legislative, there's a legislative piece to it, but there's also been a mission of mercy because people call me for help with all sorts of things, and I'm delighted to help them. I will continue to help them.
So you would say that being involved in your community is really important to you?
It is the utmost importance to me. Serving is very, very important to me, and I will do this until the day I die. There are people that call me from all over the city, sometimes outside of the city, but most of the help that I give is 90% of it is inside the city limits, and people that are just in need. I've helped people. There were people last winter that had their utilities turned off. I was able to get their utilities turned back on, even putting in some of my own funding to do that. I don't get any grants at this time, but I'm excited because in 2020 I will be receiving 2 grants from the state of Maryland, one from the state of Maryland, one from another source in the county, and I'm looking forward to that. I will be making another public announcement after I have received those grants, but I have been recognized by top leaders in the state for the work that I do, which I'm very excited about, which has made it possible for me to get some grant funding.
It's very impressive and really moving to see a local politician really working hard to keep their community going. So I think everyone really appreciates all the work that you do.
Thank you. One of my mottos that I say, I said it when I first got elected and I say it now, when it's really what I live by, is leaving people better than I found them. That's very, very important to me. That's my trademark, I think I want to say.
Why do you think our civic duty to voting is so important, particularly at the local level?
Well, it's important not just at the local level, but at all levels. We only received, I think the total voting this time was 2,813, which was pretty low. We have 28,000 plus residents. So it's really sad that we did not have a lot of voter turnoff. I'd like to see more, and I really want to think about ways that we can get voters out, at this election going forward.
Because that's only 10% of the population.
Yeah, and
so.
I mean, people came out, but it could have been more. Their voice counts. Their vote matters. That's the message.
All right, great. Thank you so much. Is there anything else that you'd like to add to your for the viewers?
Again, I'm glad to be here. I'm really looking forward to this term. I'm looking forward to working with residents. People know how to find me. We have our council meetings on Monday, the second and fourth Monday of each month. Our work sessions, the first Wednesday. There are a lot of committees that residents can volunteer for. There are a lot of volunteer opportunities here in the city. So I just look forward to the public engagement. And if people want to reach me, they can reach me by email. And my personal and my city council cell number is listed on the city page, so I look forward to hearing from folks.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank
it was
you
really
for having
insightful.
me. I appreciate that.
It's really important to get to know our council members more and how they serve. Today I have with me one of the most important local officials in Laurel, Mayor Craig A. Moe. Mayor Moe, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
All right, so since this is your 5th term, how does that make you feel to know that the people have so much faith in you to continue to vote for you in each election?
I'm very honored first to be serving my 5th term. I never thought I'd be here for 5 terms. I always thought I'd be here for 1 term, and that was it. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed working with the community, and I think really what I got a lot of pleasure out of during this election in particular was the amount of people that spoke to me and were very happy, and a lot of nice comments on the things that we're doing here in the city government, and that says a lot. You don't usually hear that a lot, but they were very happy with what's happening here in the city, happy with the services that we're providing, Laurel TV of communications, getting that information out as well. And it was nice to hear that because we have a lot of dedicated, hardworking people here that really do work hard on behalf of the community.
So over time, you've seen an improvement and a change within the city
I have. I
government,
think
say.
throughout the years, we've always tried to You can always do things better. We always try to look at it that way. I in particular, I hopefully take criticism good. Nobody likes to hear criticism, but you got to listen to all of that. You got to make sure that you're doing the right things. And I think one way to find that out is not only hear the good, but you got to hear the bad as well sometimes. And we've learned over the years. I've learned over the years, and I've grown in the office as well. But as I've always said, it's really the community that makes the people in the community that really make the community great.
So with the community, why would you say it's so important for them to vote in their local elections?
It sends a signal. I mean, as I just said, the things that I heard at the polls, I'm glad it was a lot of good. I heard some other things that we need to take a look at when we talk about a couple areas in the city, but most people were very supportive, and I think that says a lot. I also think, there were a lot of people that really got out there and worked hard. Although we had candidates that didn't really have people running against them, as they say, they were out working, door knocking, working hard as well. And I think that says a lot as well. We had two, the mayor's office as well as the at-large seat, and had people that were out there on both sides, really getting out in the community, making sure they knew an election was coming up. But I also think people want to send a signal as well. I think with all that goes on in Washington, to see a local municipality really listening to the community and making their effort to get communications out to them and tell them what we're doing. I think they wanted to be able to make sure that the elected officials knew they were watching and they were listening, and that's one way of doing it. Plus, it's good. I mean, that's democracy in action.
So kind of to piggyback off of that, what would you say some of your goals for your fifth term are to just show that action in the community?
Well, I think, as I said, we're going to really drill down on each of the departments. We've talked about that, internally already. We want to have a dialogue with each of the department heads to really look at the services we're providing. Are we providing the right services? Should we be adding some services? Are the services paying for themselves? So we really need to drill down, as we say here in city government. We're going to do that, and we're going to do that with each of the departments. We're going to do that with our programs, and we'll share that information with the community as well as the city council to make things even better. I think transportation, our infrastructure is very crucial of what happens in moving people in and around the city of Laurel. So we're going to do that as well to really look at those transportation needs as well as all the infrastructure. When we talk about infrastructure, really talk about roads, we're talking about our sidewalks, curb and gutter, all of those things that really move people in and around the city of Laurel. And the last thing, we're always going to live within our means. I've done that. We've been very fortunate. We haven't had to raise the property tax. Whether we continue down that road or not, we have to take a good look, and that all starts with all the services we're providing. And a lot of our budget, the money that people put in, in their property tax, really goes to the people here in the city government paying those salaries. That's where about 85% of our money goes. And we need to make sure we have the right people in the right places, they're doing the right jobs, and that all of those services that we're providing are being used properly, and is there ways that we can save money?
So kind of going back to local elections, so there was record turnout for early voting. How does that make you feel, and why do you think so many people turned out so early?
Well, I think early voting is something we started several years ago. I think it's picked up every year. I also think you saw the numbers because we saw the numbers, especially in Ward 2 area where people really came out and voted and participated. That's also the area that has grown over the years. When we talk about some of the annexation that has occurred and some of the development that has occurred. So we're seeing people participate. It was nice to hear several residents that said this was their first time voting in a local election. They had just moved into the city. In some cases, one woman had told me she'd only been here about the last year. So she wanted to make sure that she was making sure that we understood that she was out there, more importantly, because she again said to me, I'm very happy to be here. This is my first city elections. She had come from Montgomery County, a community in Montgomery County, so she wanted to make sure that I knew this was her first time, and she wanted to be involved. And I think that is important as well, to make sure that we do know that first-time voters here in the city of Laurel.
People are really trying to be more proactive, I think. I did speak with Councilwoman Valerie Nicholas, and she said that we're really only seeing like 10% of voters in Laurel come out. How are you looking to improve that and improve voter turnout?
Well, I think things such as this, talking about it, but statewide municipal governments, it's anywhere, I think, from 7 to about 15% turnouts you see. People usually get involved going to the polls when it affects them mostly, or something they didn't like. But I also think that one of the things we want to explore and take a good hard look at is how can we make voting even better and easier for people. Rockville just did where you could mail in your ballot. I think it's important for us to take a look at that. I'm very hopeful once the new council gets on board to discuss with them about looking at our election laws and how we can do and make elections even smoother. Do we need a second polling place for early voting? Things like that all come in hand with making it making it easier for people to really get to City Hall or to their polling place to vote.
Just really reaching more people and letting them know about the dates and making sure people know about it so they can get out and vote.
Right, and again, I think it's up to us not to wait until the next election. We really need to start now of saying, don't forget, get involved in your next election. It does mean a lot, and this is the things that can occur. More importantly, we need to make sure that we have candidates. I'd really love to see more candidates coming out as well, which brings out voter participation as well. So that's important, and we do that a lot of times throughout the year, telling people to get involved in committees or commissions, volunteer their time, and then they get a taste of what government's all about, and then maybe they'll run for office, which is how I got my start years ago.
What would you say has been your favorite part about serving the people of Laurel?
The satisfaction of knowing just that we're getting things done and that people are communicating with us, I think, better, letting us know their concerns or their issues, and then addressing them. And I think that's important. It's always nice to, when you're in the grocery store, you're walking around town for people to say, we appreciate you putting that stop sign up, or we appreciate, the traffic light, you looked at an issue, or the street lighting, all those things that really make a community, and hearing those people, respond back because they know that you heard what, the individual said and you responded to it.
So really getting to see your effects in your community.
Absolutely, and especially when it's something that affects you in your community, and you bring it to an elected official, not just the mayor, but any of the elected officials, and it's responded to, and you solve their issue or their problem. And not always can you solve their problem, but at least you're getting back to them saying why you can't, or there are certain issues, why we can't fix something, maybe because the street light that they wanted fixed is a state road and it doesn't fall under our jurisdiction. But people want to be able to hear back from you, and I think we do a good job at doing that as well.
So all in all, you would really encourage people to try to get out more and get involved with their local government?
Sure. We actually have a lot of volunteers that participate. They can contact my office. There are committees, commissions, and other things that we do where we want input from the community, and they can get involved that way. And I encourage it. I mean, this is their government, so it's important for them to participate.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add for our viewers?
I was going to make an announcement that I was going to keep up with What the Gov and make it the mayor's What the Gov. But we want to wish you the best. Thank you.
Thank you
for what you've been doing.
Thank you so much, Mayor, for coming on the show. Your insights always really appreciated.
Thank you very much. Best of luck to you as well.
Thank you. It's clear to me that local politics does have a direct impact on my life as a citizen, so next election season, I think we should all be more diligent to look into our options, learn more about the candidates, and make sure we're educated about the issues. You can't complain if you don't vote or if you make uninformed decisions. But that's all we have time for today, folks. I would like to say thank you to each and every one of you who ever tuned in to an episode of What the Gov. Although we've only gotten to spend a few episodes together, I hope that everyone who has watched learned at least one new thing that they can share with someone else. Knowledge is power, and as you continue to move on in your life, I hope you spread that power to everyone you meet. This may be the end, or this may just be the beginning of a new chapter. We'll see where the wind takes us. As always, please like, subscribe, and leave a nice little comment below. If you've ever had a question that has made you go, "What the gov?" Well, I hope I answered at least one of them. Here's to a future where we all know a little more than we did the day before. Take care.